what's the reality around using the display ad network within Google these days? Because whenever I would approach campaigns for my clients, mostly because I was coming from the SEO side, I almost always turned that off and didn't push towards the display ad
Yeah.
systems. Um, what is the best practices when you make that recommendation to combine both specific keyword searches and the display ad network augmenting?
Yeah.
And is that based off of the return on investment? Is that based off of, the profit margin that you're looking for that product or service? Or is
Yes.
it more about the nature of what it is that you're selling, where you expect your customer to potentially be browsing a whole bunch of different sites that you might catch their attention?
Yeah. So for display ads, since I started 7 years ago, I only believe display ads for remarketing.
Okay.
So I only believe it's because there's too many spammy sites. So back then there was a link where you can exclude all like spammy sites, right? Now you can still do it, but it's that Google has make you jump through many hoops. And people still put out these 20,000 website links so you can quickly exclude and all that. But there's a trick to it. So it's not an instant button anymore. And you definitely want to exclude those sites because it's spammy, they're useless. So definitely display is remarketing only. Best practice is have an offer on display, just a bit like social media ads, have an offer on there, like to get them back or to, some type of percentage off, cart abandonment. In terms of audience, I think people are too focused on, overlapping keywords with, this and that audience. The stuff doesn't work. It all gets expanded. So all you're doing is giving Google an initial signal, right? And then Google can do whatever you want, same as Meta these days. So display, and I think last point I would make is that when we're doing Google ads, what you want to do is you want to hit display, you want to hit YouTube, right? And you want to hit the discovery feed, but with very little money because the diminishing returns is very early on those platforms, if that makes sense. So you should hit it because people will be visible. Oh, cool, there's a guy on video again. Oh, okay, there's a guy on discovery feed. Oh, I see him on a news site. Okay, so he must be doing pretty well. But all you're doing is like $10, $20 display marketing, remarketing. I think there's value in that for sure. Yeah.
Um, what's the current um economy like when it comes to choosing which ad platform to pursue? Um, there's Meta,
Yep.
there's Google, Bing, Yahoo, they have their ad platform.
Yep.
Um, uh,
TikTok.
there may be others.
Yeah.
So how do you go about talking through with the client which of those platforms to use and why?
So, in terms of platforms, what I do is, just say you're a client, I'm talking to you, right? And then what I'll look at is how good are you on video, right? What assets have you got? What power, what resources have you got to continually produce assets, right? Let's just say you're a service business or e-commerce business, because Meta is about burnout. So you got to refill and replenish the tank. So we've got to look at that, right? So just say that you are a lawyer business, okay, and you don't want to be in front of camera, okay? You don't have anyone in your office who wants to be in front of camera. Facebook, Instagram is useless to you because you're probably already anti it. So I'm hard on search, going hardcore on search, probably 80% Google. Once that gets working, then 20% on Bing, right? So Bing's search volume, I know I've watched your podcast, you're glad that Bing's coming back into the game and all that, but they on the ads, dude, it's so little, like so little
Yeah.
interest. And then the thing with the client is that you still got to set up all the tagging, tracking, everything else, right? And the reporting. So that's definitely that. In terms of just say you have something a bit more novel, right? And you kind of like you don't mind promoting it or you don't mind getting some UGC stuff, then a lot of that money is going to go on Facebook, Instagram.
Okay, that makes sense because So it's basically your business marketing model and how much fuel you're willing to pour into
Fuels
the
are
fire.
great. Yeah, fuels are
Uh,
great. Yeah. So I call it how many bullets you got in the chamber. Right. So you know what I mean? Like if you go, oh, let's do this for 3 months, and then you got like 4 assets. I'm like, where'd you get these 4 assets? They go, we shot it a year ago, and the guy's gone
yeah,
now. I said, oh, well, I don't know if you're gonna last the 3 months, you know? Yeah.
that definitely makes sense. What are when it comes to the service business side, um, what are some of the unique services that you've configured ads for that kind of stood out from your normal deployment? Had some sort of kink or, special feature that you had to adjust your campaign to address?
Um, Bubblegum Casting is a huge children's modeling agency in Australia. It's the biggest in Australia. I was lucky to get that, was through a referral. I think that is a perfect example, and obviously this is unscripted. I didn't think about this before. So it's the perfect example of being fluid with the distribution of the budget between Google and Meta. I think that's because when they're doing, so search is a staple, right? People go, well, how to get my kids into modeling or modeling photo shoots or whatever, right? And that's on the search side, the bottom funnel, they're ready to go. But then there's the meta side where you're showing proof of people who's successful in the modeling in the past, which is massive. Right?
Yeah.
So that kind of like, and when they have their draws and their like lead magnets, their competitions, their model searches, that's all demand gen on the meta side. Right, so that kind of has to move around. When it comes to service businesses, you really want to look for things that's a bit weird. So you don't want to just look for the chiros and the physios and the lawyers, because that's very competitive. It's $30 a click. People always get a heart attack when they hear it, you know.